So you can see no lipstick, no powder, no earrings, loose workout gear. So you can guess I'm still not well. So we're just going to go on and go on ahead with this as best we can. If you don't know who I am, I'm Suzanne Tidkemeyer. I used to write for a place called Pathos for nearly 10 years, a column called No Longer Quivering, about fundamentalist, evangelical type religions and some of the craziness. Nitwit, hey, I haven't seen you in forever. Sandy, yeah, it's just a pesky virus. It's just not the pesky virus. So I'm just going to have to ride it out until it's just gone. There's nothing more really you could do when it's a virus. Do the YouTube things, hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. These are just my opinions. Don't bully anybody I'm talking about. Busy with work, 2 jobs. Oh my word. You sound like my husband and others I know. I'm not busy with 2 jobs, but I am busy enough around here with the 50 trillion things, which I'm going to talk about very shortly. I'm having a lot of people asking me to do. Oh, let me go back. I've got to remember what all I got to say today. A couple of weeks ago, somebody came into my live chat and kind of came after me because I was saying Mrs. Cartman Crane might be wrong because she was making all these allegations of financial chicanery about Katie Joy Paulson. And I said at the time, legal documents or it didn't happen. Hey, Jan. And I've doubled down on that several times because I've seen this. This is a thing every time we have new people come in, they discover how awful she is. They immediately start accusing her of everything short of the Lindbergh baby kidnapping. And the rest of us are kind of like, girl, we've been there, done that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. So whoever this is now coming up with what sounds more likely than what they were first saying, including who they've contacted. So, yeah, which you don't need to do that. Nobody needs to give me a super chat. If you want to, that's fine, but don't ever feel the need you must. So she may be onto something. But again, when newbies come here, they need to realize that we've heard it all, we've seen it all, and having false allegations doesn't help anybody against this woman. I don't want to talk about her today. I am so sick up and fed up, sick to my stomach after hearing anything about her. I do have to say I've been working on my cards for a game. That's where my brain is going while I've been sick. I want to touch on Love After Lockup a little bit. I've had a lot of people ask me to restart the Love After Lockup reviews with my husband. The problem isn't with me. I would do it in a heartbeat. The problem is with my husband. He watched one episode of last season's Love After Lockup with me and said it was just not for him anymore. Now he is saying he never wants to see it ever again. And he's watching bits and pieces when I'm watching. And it's like, ugh. And I admit it has gotten so awful. I don't know what Sharp Entertainment, whether they're scraping the bottom of the barrel because they don't have any interesting people anymore. I mean, the new season, I only want to see one of the couples. I only want to see Puppy and Amber. Only because I've been following Puppy and Amber this whole time and I wish them the best. I want to see Puppy straighten herself out and get away from that Eric. So I'm watching for that. And I was really shocked to see that Amber's parents, after many years and having been teenage sweethearts who'd married and not made a go of it, they're back together and they did a commitment ceremony this last episode. I got the biggest kick out of that. You go. If you can put it back together with your first love, I have nothing but love for you. But the rest of the couples, Chance and Taylor, I am on the fence about Chance. There's times when I think he's grooming those girls, his girlfriend's daughters. Love After Lockup is on WeTV, I think. Here it is on TLC in Costa Rica. but it's 2 or 3 seasons behind. TLC, I'm watching the episodes on YouTube because my last Fire Stick crashed and I'm not able to find it any longer. I'm not able to access the Yoho pirate channel I was watching it on. So I'm reduced to YouTube, which isn't always the best place to watch it. Like I said, I go back and forth on Taylor and Chance. I look at all of them and say, are they on drugs? I mean, it's to that point with everyone. Discovery Plus in the States. Okay. Yeah, it would be there. Discovery Plus. And I'm just not seeing anybody I'm interested in. It's like the Deontay and Lindsay thing. I enjoyed both of them on their seasons, except that I know that Deontay doesn't have the brain power, not brain power. Let me redo that because he's obviously smart. He doesn't have the common sense that God gave a June bug. Let's just put it that way. He keeps ending up with these really awful women. Now he's with Lindsay. And while Lindsay, sure enough, did not deserve all the crap that Scott did to her, including giving her an STD, I'm not sure that either of these two people are a good fit for anybody. I kind of like the guy that Lindsay is living with, her friend from way back. So I'm not so excited about seeing this season. Dear Sharp Entertainment, let me give you a heads up and a hint. I wish you would do a show called Mama the Bounty Hunter, because I would watch that. Indy from last season of Love After Lockup, or was it 2 seasons ago? I'm getting confused because they don't label their seasons well on any of the Love After Lockups. Anyway, Indy's mother is a bounty hunter. I would pay to see that woman in her common sense and her bounty hunting. I think that would be a much more interesting show than any of these fools you're showing on Love After Lockup, except for Amber and Puppy. Mom the Bounty Hunter. Bring it on. And here's what's really funny. She lives 2 towns over from my daughter in Maryland. So every time I'm staying with my daughter, I'm like, got my eyeballs peeled looking for Yolanda. And I haven't seen her yet. But I had to laugh when I was there this last trip. Pics of Yolanda kept popping up on Reddit out and about at various things. I probably missed her by about this much at a couple of those things. So Yolanda, you have a big fan here. I'm shouting you out. Mom the Bounty Hunter, Sharp Entertainment, please make it happen. Okay, I have to rant and bitch and moan today. One thing I've noticed, and this is something that invaded the quilting world a long time ago. Used to be if you bought a quilting pattern or if you saw a quilting pattern, you could take it to the bank that the dimensions were probably right. Then, I don't know how long ago that I started having problems. I noticed the dimensions aren't so right. So now whenever I buy a quilting pattern, one of the first things I do is I use some fabric I don't give a rat's ass about, and I make a mock-up, a square or two, just to make sure the dimensions are right. And if they're not right, I have to sit down with the calculator and figure out how to adjust the pattern to make it fit. I hate doing that. It is the worst. It is literally the worst. I'm sorry. I am still struggling with this crap. Sick to my stomach. Liquid in my lungs. Nose is running continually. Oh, did he? He got Life and Club Fed? Well, are we going to see him on Love during lockup? Oh, just as well. I don't watch that show, but I watch a little bit of it when I'm in the States with my daughter, enough to be able to know who everybody is and how horrible some of them are and how unhorrible some of them are. I feel so sorry for that poor lady that wears the hijab that is with the guy who is an idiot. I just want to go run, run, run every time I see her. Um, hey, T King. So one of the things that's really frustrating to me as a crocheter is this is invaded crocheting now. I can't tell you how many times I pulled out a pattern that has been needlessly complex and that everything has just been hell wrong with it. You go to make sure the gauge is right, and the gauge is way off. Even if you're using the yarn and the hook they're telling you to use, and you're like, I can't even begin to get that. Hey Danielle, and then you go ahead and you crochet it all, and you're like, what the hell? Why does this all way off? Um, or you start putting together and like, this doesn't look anything like that. And I know that I've been doing this so many years that this is just not right. So one of the things that I've had to do a lot lately is modify so many patterns. There's so many patterns that are needlessly complex. A good example was this. I saw this poncho and thought, that's a nice little fishnet poncho. Hey, back on my books. Hey. And so I made a mock-up out of leftover yarn. I kind of like it, except that I had to completely redo the pattern because the pattern was all wrong and very complex. So what I did was I simplified it to a very simple stitch to come up with the fishnet look. This is my thing that I take with me on the airplane because I'm always freezing my ass off on the airplane. Another example of this was this. This is what I made on my last trip to the States. It's a blanket, as you can tell, with different stitches. This is another one that I started following the pattern, and the pattern was unnecessarily complexly written for something that's so, hey, nobody, something that is so incredibly simple to make. So this is another one where I had to start 3 times, and I finally just went ahead and rewrote the pattern. And I kept thinking, this is so weird. And this is something I only started running into last summer. Okay, so about a year ago, I made a Afghan for my living room. Yeah, Love After Lockup, Christoph fan. And the Afghan had, I tried to copy the one in Breaking Bad in Walter White's house. He had it on the back of the sofa. Last year we did a rewatch. I was like, I really like that. The burgundy and the browns. I really like that. And that would work in my living room, except that I'm going to have to turn most of the browns to cream because burgundy, cream, and a few other colors on the Danielle, one of them is just put together with scraps. It's put together with scraps, the one I wear on the plane. I figure if I put every color into it, it'll go with every outfit. So I did it. I made it with burgundy yarn. I made it with cream, and I don't love it. I said, well, I'm gonna pull it apart and start again. So for the last year, I've collected yarn in different earth tones and other colors that we have in the living room and decided I was going to do something different. So I bought some yarn in the States that came with a pattern for a striped Afghan. I started putting it together, correct size needle, an eye, and it called for an eye needle. Simple stitch, simple stitches. I checked my gauge. My gauge was 100% right. So I said, okay, that's good. Let me go ahead and start this. Well, I started it and the pattern was all wrong. The pattern was just completely screwed up. Why? Because if you used this needle and that yarn to make the striped Afghan, you were going to end up with a super tight hot mess. It was almost like felted. So what I've had to do with that is, guess what? Rewrite the pattern, do different stitches to kind of get sort of the same look. And at first I was doing it, I was like, I'm not feeling it. But guess what? I'm feeling it now. I simplified the pattern. And I started doing stripes in all colors. And I gotta say, I was not wild about this orange when I accidentally ordered it. It was supposed to be, I didn't mean to order it. I put it in my basket on Amazon, not thinking. And then this January, when our friend came to visit us, he brought it, and I realized that the things I'd ordered from Amazon would just sit in my basket. They delivered it. He kept saying, "I don't know what you want to do with this one. I don't know what you want to do with this one. This is so ugly." And I thought, well, it's not ugly, but it's just not me. So I'll figure out something to do with it because it was on the giant balls. I am loving it in that. I am loving it. It's got such a like a South American vibe to the combination that I'm putting together. I'm going to put the burgundy and some more browns and creams with it. And I'm going to use that instead on my sofa. So yeah, who frogs finishes projects. Yeah. You have to. And I'm thinking about putting together, I'm not going to charge, I'm going to put together a website. I'm going to put together all my reworked patterns and explain why I reworked them, because some of them are just so needlessly complex that I fear for people. I bought a pattern last year that was quite expensive. It was like $20. And you know, crochet patterns are not usually that expensive. It was so beautiful. I bought the yarn for it. I started, and it was another one that was just needlessly complex. And so now I have this giant pile of ruffly crocheting that I have no use for. I stopped the pattern. I'm going to rework it and redo it completely eventually. That's going to be one of my projects because that really pisses me off. I don't know about you guys, but it pisses me off. And unfortunately with crocheting, sometimes there's no way to actually check what the pattern is until you actually start doing it. I love knitting and crocheting, but can't do them. I've started to pick up punch needle and cross stitching though. I love both of those, but I can't do cross stitch because I can't see well enough to be able to pick out all the little things. Even though I bought a cross stitch kit when I was in the States, I may give it a second try. I don't know. So there you have it. There's the crocheting. And a lot of you, like I said, I don't know what I'm going to do about Love After Lockup. I'm going to have to twist the mister's arm hard because he enjoyed when we did the reviews. He said later, he says, I really like that. I wish we had more viewers. I'm like, dude, I never worry about if I have viewers or not. I just do my thing. And if people show up, great. If people don't show up, great. I'm having a good time anyway. As soon as I figure out the new stitcher pattern, I get bored and rip it out. Sometimes that happens to me. And there's times when I do patterns or a new stitch that I've learned, and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. And the pattern for the Afghan, I did the purple and turquoise one back here. I used a lot of different, I'm going to call them orphan stitches, fancy stitches I learned that aren't really that fancy, but just require a little bit of look. And I used a lot of those in there because the things they told you to do in the actual pattern were utterly ridiculous and left something really not nice looking, not like in the picture. And I know it's not a matter of skill level because I've been doing this for many, many years. I've always been able to do expert and intermediate patterns, but lately the patterns are just not working out. And I was really disappointed because one of the patterns was from one of the crochet magazines from the UK that I usually like, but they really screwed this one all up. So there you have it. That's why I need yarn. I have all these projects that I'm working on where I need yarn. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go since I've ranted about Love After Lockup and crochet. You guys have a great day.